Authority forecast from meteorologist Amber Wheeler.
We are on Tropics Watch this week as we're watching a storm form in the Caribbean, and it is likely to become Rafael here as early as tomorrow. And it does have a projected path in the Gulf. Now, we are in the cone of uncertainty, just a little sliver of us. I'm going to show you that here in just a second. We have a very quiet Gulf tonight, but it's down towards the south central Caribbean, which is where we're watching. This cluster of thunderstorms is coming together. This is potential tropical cyclone number 18, likely Rafael, as it's lifting to the north and moving slowly. Right now moving at about 6 miles per hour, but the wind speeds are at 35, so just under that tropical storm criteria. It is south of Jamaica by about 325 miles, so it still has a ways to go, but it will likely impact Jamaica with a close pass and make a direct hit, at least a likely direct hit, to the Cayman Islands. They're under a hurricane watch tonight. You can see here, this is going to be on Tuesday evening, further strengthening to a Category 1 before making landfall in Cuba and then making its way into the Gulf of Mexico. You'll notice that parts of southeast Louisiana is under the cone of uncertainty here, but there is a wide range of possibilities of how this could go. And you'll notice that it goes from a Cat 1 to a tropical storm on Friday there, because it is going to encounter a little bit more of a hostile environment once it gets into the Gulf of Mexico. So still a lot of time to watch this, but the things that we have going for us are that when you're seeing a storm in November, you've got cooler water in the Gulf of Mexico. So we've got this ocean heat content, which is still pretty ample in the Caribbean to strengthen this storm. But once it makes its way into the Gulf of Mexico, you've got cooler water here. We're starting to see things cool down there, and we're also seeing more wind shear. Now, it doesn't have as much of a wind shear issue in the Caribbean, which is why we'll see further strengthening. And then once this makes its way into the Gulf, you can see all this wind shear that's setting up over many of the Gulf states. This will do a little bit of damage to that system even when it's out in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to help ingest some dry air. So that's why we're expecting this to weaken. How much it weakens, well, that's still to be determined at this time. So you can see all the computer models really taking it straight into the Gulf and close to us, which is why we're going to pay close attention to this. Now, the next 7 days, the Weather Prediction Center's rainfall map is looking pretty interesting here. So they've got this big blob of rain off the coast of Florida and into the eastern Gulf, and not as much around us. So this tells me that this is picking up on the fact that this is going to get sheared and possibly dry out a little bit as it does make its way into the central Gulf. We do have another front trying to push in, but it will stall out, and we are still going to keep a chance for some rain over the next few days, but the chances are going to be really low. Here's Viper right now. You can see we've got a few impulses moving in from the Gulf. That's what we've been seeing over the last few days, and that's what we'll continue seeing as we head into Monday. So if you find yourself under a shower, we've got about a 20% chance. It's going to have some movement. It's going to be pretty quick here, and that is the same case on Tuesday. There's a front pushing in. It is going to weaken on approach. It's not going to bring us any cool air. It's not going to bring us much in the way of rain either. But you'll notice the persistent winds out of the southeast. That's what's giving us this coastal flood advisory for all of our shorelines through Tuesday. So we're going to have that high tide 1 to 2 feet above normal for a couple of days here. And we're well above normal for our temperatures all week, possibly seeing some cooler temperatures next week, but we're still keeping it above average. So this is a pretty warm start to November. There's your 70s right now. We're probably going to stay in the 70s for tomorrow morning. We're not going to see too much cooling tonight. And then we're back to the mid 80s tomorrow with a stray shower. It would be very quick if you see anything. There's that 7-day forecast. We'll head towards the end of the week. I've got a 30% chance for some showers, but we'll really be tapering that and tailoring that rather as we get closer and we see what Rafael does. A quick look at the marine forecast, a small craft advisory into Monday. Sports is next.